Hi everyone, this is George and you're watching yet another episode of the Nexo Brainer, where we show you how to find your Nexo way into the crypto universe. This time we're not going to be having our normal talk about products and updates, and instead I wanted to focus a little more on the human aspect of what we're doing, what really matters at the end of the day, why we're doing this. And this is really for you, for our community, for our clients, and for the ways in which we've been blessed to be able to have a positive impact on your lives. And so we'll cover a few stories of real clients, how they've utilized Nexo's products to benefit themselves and their families. Our first story is about Ben, a young man who's been working hard, who has saved up some funds, and who has also understood the Bitcoin network. He's a firm believer in the success of the Bitcoin network, in the success of the Bitcoin asset, and its long-term potential growth, which is why he's invested all of his savings into Bitcoin. Having said that, Ben also has other interests. He has his professional goals, and he's been able to be accepted in a prestigious college, but unfortunately he doesn't really have the cash to finance the tuition fee for that college. Now obviously Ben has his Bitcoin, but he's definitely, he just doesn't want to sell his assets because of his such firm belief in this asset class. Now luckily Ben finds out about Nexo's instant crypto credit lines, which allow him really to get the best of both worlds. So he maintains his Bitcoin, placing it with Nexo. Instantly he gets access to a credit line, which allows him to fund his education, to maintain his assets, all of that upside potential, and at the same time really to be able to continue to work towards his goals. And the reason why I personally really love this story is because this is just one example, but it's also an example of a whole class of customers we have who are realizing their educational aspirations, their educational goals, thanks to Nexo's credit lines as a financing mechanism. In the second story of today, we have Dave and his wife who moved from Australia to France to start a new life, where they bought a new business, but unfortunately they really had a bad timing since all of this happened right at the beginning of COVID. And so while their business was going, it was definitely not going up to the expectations that they had initially. And so they were struggling to make ends meet. And they were looking for new ways in which they could generate revenues. That was very hard for their business at the time, but fortunately they had a generally sizable amount of funds that they had saved. But at that time, although they had spent a lot of efforts, times to save that funds, they were not really generating any passive income for them in the traditional banks because the interests there were already at zero. And so this is when they started to look for alternative, and this is how they found about Nexo's earned interest product. They researched about it, they decided to test it out, and then very quickly they decided to move pretty much all of their savings into Nexo's earned interest product, where their savings actually mattered. And so the daily, the monthly interest that they kept generating really made a difference in helping them to go through these very hard times that they faced in this new reality. And the reason we're talking about this example is because I believe that this is a big struggle for a lot of people out there who are super frustrated about the fact that they've worked hard, they've been saving money, and now they're either not earning anything in traditional banks, or in many cases they're actually even paying. I mean, in Europe, for example, you're getting charged when you hold funds in your Euro account, which is really crazy if you think about it. And Nexo offers a way out for all of these hardworking people, for all of these savers. So this last story is about Mike. a crypto enthusiast who's been in the space since 2017. Mike has been accumulating Bitcoin for a lot of time. He's a long-term believer. He believes Bitcoin is really going to be a major part of our lives, in the years to come. Mike has been closely following the space. He's been watching podcasts. He's been looking at Plan B stock to flow model. He's been reading books. He's really a lot into Bitcoin. And that's why he's been accumulating regularly. Now, last summer in 2020, he understood there was something brewing up there. And I think many of the people at the time who were more kind of like into the deep understood that this time something serious is brewing up. Especially in August when Michael Saylor announced the purchase of Bitcoin for his public company MicroStrategy. Everyone, I believe, who was out there at the time knew that this was not going to be the last major purchase from a public company. Michael Saylor made a big statement, and Mike realized that the price of Bitcoin is not going to stay at about like 10,000 or whatever it was at the time. So he was looking for ways to get more Bitcoin, to get more in that action, to get up his part of this 21 million Bitcoin that are finite. Now, he couldn't really, earn up a lot of money for a week or so. He needed to find from somewhere access to financing fast so he can acquire as much Bitcoin as he could before the price rise that he believed was about to happen. And this is where when he found out about Nexo, and in particular Nexo's instant crypto credit lines. He used up all of the Bitcoin that he has accumulated until that point. He took a loan, he bought that Bitcoin, he took that risk, obviously realizing that, stuff may go well, stuff may go bad, but he kind of had this gut feeling where things were going. And the rest is history. We all know what happened in September, October, and all the way up to December and early this year. Basically, in about half year, Mike pretty much tripled all of his Bitcoin holdings. All of this thanks to Nexo's instant crypto credit lines. And the reason why I'm telling this story is because I think Mike is not the only one. There's a lot of people who follow the crypto space earnestly and who realize there are cycles here. You can place these cycles, and you can have you can really change your life if you play these cycles correctly. Crypto is changing lives, and Nexo is helping change those lives with our products. So these were the stories that we wanted to share with you in this episode of the Nexo Brainer. Thank you very much for watching. I sincerely hope that you found them inspirational, and we look forward to hearing your stories, how you use Nexo's products to change your life, to have an impact on your goals. We're here to share those in future episodes. And until then, make sure you follow us on social media, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click on that bell button so that you get all of our upcoming episodes, and we'll see you soon again.